Welcome back to another edition of Six Borough Sports, your home for New York and South Florida sports. Today, we got the start of basketball playoffs with the Heat grinding it out as the last playing seed and still managing to make the playoffs, beating the Hawks and Bulls. And we also got the Knicks facing off against the Pistons in the first game of the playoffs for them. But before I get started, I'd like to please remind everyone to like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. Thank you so much. So, shout out to the Heat, man. They really just show up as a completely different team in the playoffs. They're 7 games under 500 as a regular season record. They go into Chicago and just Chicago's a complete no-show, essentially. They beat them up. There was a little bit of a pushback, but they just kept them at arm's length the whole game. The defense was swarming. This is Heat basketball. They do this every year. Um, they just need to get some talent on the team. They have the coaching, they have the heart. Uh, Tyler Hero has been looking amazing lately. He's really the offensive leader of the team. But they have a tough road ahead of them going forward when they're facing the Cavs. Just a few notes about that Hawks game. It looked like very similar to the Bulls game. It was going to be this pretty boring blowouty game, but then the Hawks got back into it, and next thing you know, we got a tie game and we're going into overtime. Hero had a good game. He had 30 points. Wiggins, 20 points. That was really good. 8 rebounds, 8 assists, almost a triple double there. Bam, 17 points, 11 rebounds. He had a lot of blocks, so he was having his impact. But in overtime, Davion Mitchell, um, who I'm actually looking forward to facing Donovan Mitchell. That's going to be crazy. Is Davion Mitchell versus Donovan Mitchell in the Cleveland series? But Davion Mitchell was creating turnovers, but through like steals and out of bounds stuff and taking charges and just going crazy in the overtime. And the Heat just pulled away and won. Um, a lot of people are asking, is this Trey Young's last game as a Hawk? And it very might well be. And one of the teams I could see Trey Young going to is my Brooklyn Nets, who can use all the talent they could get, and they have a ton of draft capital, and they just need talented players. Everyone's available, so actually the Nets need to spend money because they are like so below the cap that I think they hit the cap floor. So that is a potential thing. There was another joke. So I was looking at a video with the Mavericks, and someone was like, the Mavericks should trade for a ball handler playmaker in his 20s. That's what they need right now, joking about Luca leaving, getting traded when they need a player like him. And I said they should get Trey Young, and then it all comes full circle because Trey Young and Luca were traded for each other, um, and Luca ended up being the better player. But not that Trey Young's a bad player, but Trey Young ended up staying with his team longer. But really gritty by the Heat. They're going to play the Cavs. I think they're going to get destroyed. They'll take one. They did it last year. They'll get the gentleman's sweep. And they'll give the Cavs a hard time. Um, they'll go out swinging. They'll get blown out in a couple of games, and then they'll keep some games close and lose. And they'll probably hit one. They'll get hot from three, and Cleveland will be cold. Um, I mean, if they could pull the upset, they're in a better spot to pull the upset than against Boston because I think just because Boston has so much playoff experience now, but Cleveland has playoff experience now too. Like they've gone through it now. This is, I think, their second or third year doing this, and they got the coach that the Nets should have kept and ignored, Durant and Kyrie, which is Kenny Atkinson. See, this is the difference between the Nets and the Heat. Like when the Heat brought in LeBron, and they had LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. They were struggling at the beginning because they weren't really practicing offense. They were just practicing defense because they really wanted to get that defense strong, and the offense was playing terribly. For like the first like 10 games or so of the season, and everybody was clowning on the Heat. And LeBron went to Pat Riley. He's like, we gotta get rid of Spoelstra. And Pat Riley's like, no, I'm not coming back down. I did that before. I don't want to do it again. You're just gonna have to deal with it. And he came. They got through the season, and that season wasn't that good because that was the. I mean, it was a good season, but not leading to Sanders, which is a championship. But they lost to Dirk. The Dirk was playing on another level, and if he was sick, it wasn't affecting his play. Um, but yeah, the Nets backed down when they should have done exactly what the Heat did. That's what strong organizations do. And now Spo is like one of the most respected coaches in the league right now, other than probably Popovich. And Popovich is like barely there anymore, just because of his health conditions. I'm surprised that they haven't replaced Pop. They could have gotten Kenny Atkinson, but Kenny's doing a great job in Cleveland. I'll be rooting for Cleveland. I mean, I don't hate either of these teams. I mean, I like the Heat. I root for them to do well. But I also don't mind Cleveland because there's a lot of Nets connections there that were, Jared Allen wasn't fully used properly on the Nets, and neither was Kenny. And Kenny is a great coach. So, but I think the Heat take one from Cleveland. Just they just get hot one night and just chuck threes, and man, that's how this league works these days. But I think Cleveland wins 4-1, or I think this might be a 5-game series. I don't remember now. Regardless, the Heat lose the series. They take one game. Um, as for the Knicks and Pistons, I predicted that this would be a very physical series because that's what the Knicks and Pistons do, and they didn't disappoint. A fun fact: the Pistons coach has the most suggestions in the league this year for a coach, which is we expected. He was arguing with the refs like at halftime, like everybody's heading to the locker room, and he's still out in the court like talking to refs. I'm surprised he didn't get teed up there. But yeah, the Pistons fought very hard. They were leading by I think 7 or 9 at the in the fourth quarter, and then I guess they used a bunch of timeouts. I wasn't paying attention to the timeouts, and I had the game on like, and I was watching, and I had the game on, but I wasn't like locked in. And I guess the Pistons used all their timeouts. They had one left, and the Knicks went on a 21-0 run, and the Pistons started panic. You saw them just like start to chuck threes that were not great shots, and they weren't even. They were kind of open, but they weren't in rhythm, and they just kind of like just walked up to the 3-point line and chucked it. And you could see the Pistons' youth in that game. They panicked. They didn't recenter, and I think they should have called a timeout just because that blew the game for you. Saving the timeout. I know you're hoping that the team gets it together, but a young team can't do that. They can't recenter themselves. They need that timeout. But that's hindsight. I'm not saying that the coach's decision to hold on to that timeout was terrible. He wanted to hold on to that timeout so much that there was an out of bounds play, like the ball tipped off of someone, and it was between Schroeder and I don't remember the Knicks player. But Schroeder said it's off, and the Knicks player challenge it, and the coach was like, Bickerstaff, he was like, "No, I can't do that because I only have one timeout left, and I can't waste it in this close game." And then the Knicks just pulled away. Brunson was fantastic. He's getting beat up though, man. He gets beat up in playoff games. They're nasty to him. And he's always hobbling around, but he had a great game. Carl Anthony Towns, 11 rebounds, 23 points. OG was all over the place. 7 rebounds, 23 points. Um, Bridges is Bridges gets too quiet. He's frustrating. But they didn't need him to do go off. And the Knicks won. But this is going to be a close physical series. I do think the Knicks win. I thought it might be an upset. I thought the Pistons might, uh, push the Knicks to their limit, but the inexperience is really showing with the Pistons, and that's why I think the Knicks are going to lose because they have Thibodeau, they have the guys who have the playoff experience, and they're just used to these situations where the Pistons they need a year. They're like Cleveland last year. They're like, oh, we made the playoffs, yay, this is awesome, and they're like, playoffs are a different animal, and you need to know how to finish games. The Pistons just know how to play well for most of a game, and then they don't know how to finish a game. I also think Kate had a pretty good game, but he needs to have more than 21 points if he wants to be the guy for the Pistons. But I wouldn't be disappointed with the Pistons play. I know you had the lead and you gave it up, and people were saying you choked. You didn't choke. You just need to be more conservative with your timeouts. Um, and it was a road game in the Garden. Everybody's, it's nationally televised game. Relax. They played really well. They just got to clean up stuff. My concern is they'll get frustrated and then lose games because they gave up like 5 points in technicals or something. But this is a step in the right direction for the Pistons, and I think they're going to push the series a little bit, but that's to be expected with a young team. But that's it for this video. Once again, I would like to remind everyone to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you at the next video.